morning, fabulous fourth grade. Today is April the 29th, 2020, and it is a wonderful Wednesday. We are going to continue with our online instruction in our virtual classrooms. We're going to share the screen. Okay. Good morning, fabulous fourth grade again. All right. So today we're going to continue learning about interdependence. Interdependence is the relationship between two or more living things where each one benefits from the other. The learning goal. I can explain the components of a symbiotic relationship and differentiate between the three types. Again, I can explain the components of a symbiotic relationship and differentiate between the three types. All right. So we were talking about organisms, and a collection of organisms, the same type of organisms, is a population. And then we also said that when you have two or more populations, it is a community. And then an ecosystem will be multiple populations, the living things and the non-living things in an environment or in a certain area. So with symbiosis, these relationships between the organisms, the plants, and the animals fit into three categories. I do not have an example of commensalism here on the screen. However, these two communities are a predator-prey relationship where you have the big cat as the predator and you have the deer as the prey. In addition to these being the predator-prey, sometimes the human can be the predator to the cat, or the cat can be the predator to the human. You also have a mutualistic relationship with the gazelle, where the gazelle and the ostrich live together in the same habitat, and they work together to ensure the survival of both species. All right. So last week we learned about the different trophic levels in an ecosystem and what kind of organisms are at each level. This week, we are going to continue to learn about their roles or their niches in an ecosystem. Earlier this week, we investigated how food chains and food webs are different, but today we are going to continue learning, and it'll be about symbiotic relationships. So what is symbiosis? Symbiosis is a relationship between two organisms. There are three different kinds of symbiotic relationships that we talk about in fourth and fifth grade. Mutualism, where both of the organisms benefit from the relationship. An example of mutualism would be the relationship that we have with plants. So we give off carbon dioxide through respiration. When we inhale oxygen, and when we exhale, we release carbon dioxide in the air or the atmosphere. When plants go through the process of photosynthesis, they take in the carbon dioxide through their openings in their leaves called stomatas. Good job. The stomatas take in the carbon dioxide that we release. When they undergo the process of photosynthesis, one of the byproducts or the end results of photosynthesis, there are two. One is glucose and the second is oxygen. They release that oxygen through their stomatas the same way that they took in the carbon dioxide. When they release the oxygen through their stomatas, it goes into the air or the atmosphere, where we inhale the oxygen and then we exhale the carbon dioxide. This is a mutualistic relationship between us and plant organisms because we both benefit. All right, so the next one is commensalism. Commensalism is a relationship where one organism benefits and the other organism is not hurt nor harmed. A great example, one of my best friends had a bird nest in a tree, and the bird nest had three little blue eggs in it, and the eggs were, the nest was not causing the tree any harm. However, the tree was supporting the nest, and it was keeping the nest from being close to predators that cannot climb the tree. This is a commensalistic relationship because the tree is a living organism And the birds that put their nest in the tree, they're not doing the tree any harm. However, they're being helped by the height of the tree, and predators cannot climb up and eat their eggs. So that is commensalism. An example of parasitism would be, I had a dog, his name was Max, and Max was a indoor puppy because I don't like ticks, and I wanted to make sure that Max never caught any type of diseases like Lyme disease from being bitten by a tick. And so that tick, if a tick was to attach itself to a pet or an animal outside, or even a person, that person would be the host, and that tick, which is a parasite, would be hurting or harming the host. And so this is parasitism, and it's a parasitic relationship. So those are the three different types of symbiosis that we talk about. Another form of symbiosis, another example would be the predator-prey relationship. And that's just where the predator hunts the prey. So symbiosis is a form of interdependence that allows ecosystems to thrive. But how? So that is what we're going to continue investigating. How does symbiosis allow ecosystems to thrive? Let's go to Google Classroom where we can finish or further this investigation. So in Google Classroom, you're going to be directly taken to your class. You will look for today's date. And the last assignment that I posted will be the one on the stream. After today's date, go to the instructions if you're not taken directly to the instructions, and then you can find the assignment details there. Now, another way, again, click the classwork tab. From the classwork tab, look for our topic interdependence. From interdependence, look for today's date. It's Wednesday, April 29, 2020. You could do the same thing, Notre Dame. Click your class, go to the classwork tab. From the classwork tab, look for our topic interdependence, look for today's date. From today's date, you will click and then view assignment. If you're not directly taken to the instructions, go to the instructions tab. From the instructions tab, we always start with number 1, our Fab Vocab. Look for the Fab Vocab Quizlet. It'll be Ecosystems Week 2. Make sure that you have joined the 4th and 5th grade class, because you do get points for when you complete an activity. And Ms. Davis does see when you complete the activity. Shout out to Khalees, who has been completing activities every day. All right, so our first word, I'm going to go back to the beginning. Our first word is predator. And a predator is an organism that eats other organisms to live. The tiger, like I said, most big cats in any ecosystem is the apex predator. It is the top predator without a predator. The only thing that would be after the apex predator would probably be a detritivore, a decomposer, a scavenger, something to eat off of its dead carcass after it's died. Apex predators, typically, they will either fall to their death, they will starve, or they will catch a disease and die. And sometimes they just get old. They get old, and then they die. And so the organism that would come after them would be the detritivore, it would be the decomposer or the scavenger. It would be the bacteria or the protozoan. Right? So the next organism would be a prey. A prey is the organism that gets eaten by the predator. It gets hunted, and as you biotic factor. So a biotic factor is living factors in an ecosystem. So again, the protozoans, fungus, bacteria, the animals, and the plants. These are all the living things. These are the living things that we commonly talk about. These would be the decomposers. These would be your producers, and these would be your groups of consumers. And so these are the organisms that we mainly talk about. These are the non-living things, the abiotic factors. So the abiotic factor is the non-living parts of the ecosystem, such as the soil, the climate, and the rainfall, the wind, the amount of sunlight, the average temperatures. Um, you can identify ecosystem or a biome by its non-living and living components or factors. So I know that in the tundra, it's going to be cold. If someone says that the temperature is cold practically all year long, then I know that it's not going to be the desert. I know that it's not going to be a deciduous or coniferous forest. I also know that it's probably not going to be an Amazon rainforest. I'm going to be thinking more along the lines of an Arctic, a taiga, a tundra, somewhere where I know that it's kind of cold. All right. So the next is a habitat. Habitat is the physical place where an organism lives. Its home. Your habitat is your home. Next is a niche. A niche is the position or role of an organism in a community, right? And the ecosystem, all living and non-living things in an environment, everything that lives there and stuff that's just there. So this water would be an abiotic factor. These corals and these reefs, starfish, fish, they would be biotic factors. Producer or an autotroph. So it's an organism that can make its own food through the process of photosynthesis. And remember, photosynthesis takes three things from the environment. It takes sunlight energy that's captured through the, you got it, chloroplast, takes water that is absorbed through the roots or through the stomatas, the openings in the leaves. And then it takes carbon dioxide, which is the odorless, colorless gas, and it's absorbed through the stomatas. And then, excuse me, the plant undergoes photosynthesis in the mitochondria, and then it is stored in the amnioblast. Miss Davis always massacres that word. All right, consumers and heterotrophs. So it's an organism that eats living producers and or consumes other organisms for food. This is the producer. These are the consumers or the heterotrophs. All right. Symbiosis, what we've been talking about, it's a relationship in which two different organisms live in close association with each other. He said, I dare you to touch them. I dare you to touch them. They're eating the ticks off of my back. I dare you to touch them. They're like, you're not going to touch us. You're not going to touch us. Because they have a symbiotic relationship. Now, the amazing thing is it looks like the birds are just chilling. I think these are oxpeckers. I'm not sure. But it looks like they're just chilling, but they're actually looking out for predators on his behalf. And so they'll fly overhead occasionally and then they'll come back down and then they'll land back on him and have a nice little snack. They'll fly overhead again, come back down, maybe have a little dinner. You know, that tick looks really good. They'll fly up again, come back down. As soon as they see a predator, they start screeching. Like, you should look it up. All right. Mutualism. Oops. Mutualism is a relationship between two species in which both species benefit. And we were talking about the gazelle and the ostrich, how the gazelle, because of their vision, one sees forward, one sees on the side, but can't see forward. And so they benefit each other because when the predator is around, because they are prey, when the predator is around, they can alert the other organism about the predator's presence. So another example of a symbiotic relationship that's mutualistic would be bumblebees and flowers, but you'll tell me about that later. And then commensalism. Commensalism is a relationship between two organisms in which one organism benefits and the other is unaffected. And the example that I gave you earlier was the bird in the tree, like an owl in the tree. Here you have the remora fish and the shark, and the remora fish is attached to the shark. He's swimming by the shark. It's attached to the shark. And whenever the shark eats whatever little pieces of meat, like little fragments that are left, he eats those. And so I consider it a scavenger. It's a commensalistic relationship. He's a predator. The shark is a predator. Whatever the shark eats would be the prey. But the remora typically eats the leftovers, which is why I consider the remora a scavenger. It is a carnivore, but it eats the leftover. It doesn't necessarily hunt on its own. It's like, I'm a freeload. I'm right by you. I'm gonna attach myself to you, and I'm going to eat your scraps. I'm not gonna hunt on my own. I'm just gonna be like, hey, just hanging out on your body. Might attach myself to you or just swim beside you, just totally whatever. But the thing with the shark swims so fast that sometimes the remora attaches themselves to the shark. I think they have a suction tube. It's like little suction cups where they can attach themselves to the shark. And so when the shark is going like really fast through the water, because you know sharks move really quick, the remora is still attached to it. So as it's attacking another item or another organism, it's like, ooh, free show, and I get to get food afterwards. It's like popcorn and entertainment, except it's another organism that just was living and now it's dead. So parasitism. I hate parasitism. When you have a cold, everybody say parasitism. When you have a sore throat, everybody say parasitism. Coronavirus, everybody say parasitism. When you get bit by a mosquito, my grandmother used to call them skeeters. Skeeters. When you get bit by a skeeter, everybody say parasitism. Parasitism is a relationship in which one organism lives on or in a host and harms it. Now, another example of parasitism that I think a lot of people don't think of is the mistletoe. Mistletoe is actually a parasite. It's a beautiful parasite, and people kiss under the mistletoe. But it actually drains the life out of whatever tree it attaches itself to. There's another tree. It's like a maple. It's like a pear-shaped tree. A lot of us have them. It's like I think it blooms. It has really pretty blossoms. It's shaped like a pear, and the blossoms are like usually white or purple or a pink. Yeah, it wraps its roots around the other trees near it, and it suffocates them, and it takes up all the water. So a lot of people plant them in their yard because they're so pretty, but you have to plant them further away from other trees because it will literally kill the trees that are near it. So that's parasitism. All right, so once you have went over your fab vocab 2 times, how many times? 2 times. Then I want you to play the match game. Shout out to Khalees for trying to play the gravity game, and then she did that. I'm so very proud of you, leader. All right, so we're gonna play the match game, and we're gonna play it twice. I'm gonna play it one time because where's it? All right, so my match game is not working. Oh, there it is. We're gonna go back. It just doesn't work. So it pulled up late, and I don't want to do that now. This is the one that gets aid. This is the ecosystem. This is mutualism. That's a parasite. Biotic factors and abiotic. I didn't beat my best time because Jalen Athena, come on, girl. Okay, so Jalen Athena is on the leaderboard. I'm very proud of you, girl. Well, it says J, but I know that's Jalen Athena. So Ms. Davis didn't beat her best time because the computer is acting hoo-hoo, but that's okay. Right now it's working, but I need to move forward. So I want you to play the match game 2 times, and I want you to if you become comfortable with your academic vocabulary, I also want you to try to make an attempt at the gravity game. All right, so number 2, we're going to watch a YouTube video. Ms. Davis has learned that when we watch the YouTube video, sometimes the video is not loud enough. So I just want you to click the video. It's up here at the top, and actually we put it twice. You're going to watch the video. It's only about 2.5, 3 minutes. And it's just really short and simple. I just want you to see that it's the video with the 2 fish, the shark and the remora. And then after you finish watching the video, I want you to answer the thinking question. Now, the thinking question is just, you're going to think of a relationship, a symbiotic relationship other than the ones that's in the video, other than the ones that's in the video. So when you do the Quizlet, that's 5 points. When you do the thinking question, that's 10 points. And I need you to give me one example of each of these relationships other than the one that you see in the video. I'm gonna say that one more time. Give me an example of each kind of symbiotic relationship. Please do not use an example from the video. I need you to think time. I need you to think time and then give me an example here, okay? Once you're finished with that, go up here where it says share. It's going to say turn in on your side. You're going to press turn in, okay? That's 10 points. Like Khalees, I think, has 50. Just saying, you can do this. I believe in you. All right. After that, let's go to that's number 3, complete the thinking questions. Number 4, you're going to log into ReadWorks. And when you log into ReadWorks, you're going to sign in as a student with your Promise Academy username and password. Here where it says student login, I'm not going to log in because I'm not on the student side. However, you can log in, read the passage, and then from yesterday, and then complete the answers. Once you get to the very bottom of the typing questions, touch submit. It's gray. And then go back to Google Classroom. I think that is 10 points. I have to look at the sheet. And then the last thing that you're going to do after you do ReadWorks, you do Legends. You sign in because Ms. Davis has already created you an account. Remember, we did it before we were out of school. So you sign in, you're going to the purple student sign in, and then you're going to play your teacher's list. And my playlist is right here, Davis T 217. All right. And that is it. So, and then you get points for that as well. So follow each step. After you follow each step, make sure that you complete the assignment. I get a report so I know if you complete the assignment or not. And if you have any questions, please send Ms. Davis a message on Dojo, send Ms. Davis a message on Classroom Google. Make sure that you put it under today's topic so that I'll know where to find your question at. In addition to that, you can also send me an email or you can text me. Your teachers are still available to you from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Make sure that you are completing your Compass Learning daily, also your Zern, and make sure that you're logging in and you're doing the Legends of Learning. May the force be with you. Again, if you have any questions, we are here to help you with any of your work. All right, so that's all for today. I love you guys so much, and I cannot wait to see you soon. Bye, promise.